JJ3K here, and it's time for another random album review. This time, the random number generator led me to Funhouse by the Stooges. This is an album that was released in 1970, a punk album, also regarded as avant-garde. It's said to be, integral in the evolution and beginnings of punk music. Yeah, I mean, according to Wikipedia, these aren't full in-depth reviews. These are just my impressions of it. Full disclosure, not a huge fan of the punk genre. I mean, long story short, it's just not my style. I've listened to a lot of it. It really never grabbed me. So going into this, this being, once again considered an album that's integral in the evolution and beginnings of punk music. I didn't come into it with really high expectations as far as me liking it. But I have to say I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was released in 1970, a very stripped and raw album. From my understanding, it was recorded live. They kind of wanted to make it sound as live and as raw as possible. And it does have that sound. As I was listening to it, I was really trying to figure out the best way to describe it. It's like garage. It's like walking from the outside into a bar where a live band is playing, but engineered well. I guess is the way I could put it. Initially it had mixed reviews, but nowadays it's I guess in retrospect it's reviewed very, very well, as you can see here. Um, it's not at all, it was exactly what I was expecting, but not at all what I was expecting. Going through talking about Iggy Pop in general, of course I know who he is. Of course I've heard of the Stooges. But while I thought about it, I've never really listened to their music. The only thing I could remember off the top of my head was that like "Lust for Life" track, and it's not even that old. But going to the track listing, it opens with Down on the Street." Very raw sound, as I stated before. Track two, "Loose." It was more melodic. It kind of almost had a surf rockabilly sound to me. Suggestive lyrics. A good track. Track three, TVI. Iggy Pop. Very unique with his vocal. I guess range or different vocal stylings, I guess is a good way to put it. This is something that I definitely could say that you would want to see live, at that time. 1970s, seeing the Stooges must have been, awesome. But back to TVI, a lot of consistent instrumentation and playing, a solo that was kind of off time, kind of more of that raw punk sound. Track four, "Dirt," was really bluesy, slower, bluesy bass line, bluesy riff, bluesy solo, good long song. One of the ones that really, the song that really caught my attention when I was listening to the whole album. Um, 1970, track five, "I Feel Alright." Up tempo, bar or garage sound once again. Track six, "Funhouse," was pretty awesome. It almost had like a funk James Brown type sound with Iggy Pop's vocals as far as his presentation. Had horn and sax. Once again, it was I wrote here. I mean, it was a fun house. Going back to what I said before, had orchestration and really had like a funk kind of sound to it. And the closing track was actually great. A really great outro. It was a kind of a chaotic cacophony of noise. But it was a big crescendo type last track. Kind of ended a lot of reverb. Kind of ended on a reverb note and what sounded like Iggy Pop or somebody roaring like a Tiger King. But all in all, once again, this album actually pleasantly surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like it at all. While it's not one that I have to get right now, it is definitely one that I would say that I'm gonna get. It's gonna go on my to get list. It was really good. I literally just got done listening to it. So I'm still kind of you know a little bit surprised that I liked it as much as I did. But I recommend it. Something that I wouldn't mind owning, and one day I will. Rock on. Thank you very much for watching my crappy upload. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe and click on one of my other videos wherever it may be. Also, I have an old channel with like hundreds of uploads of random things. Please subscribe to it as well wherever it may be. Thank you very much.